Hello everyone, it's Mrs. Matson. Today we are going to be adding and subtracting decimals. By the end of the day, you will be able to line up your decimals so that you can easily add and subtract them. My rules that I like for adding and subtracting, or my tips, are very first of all, line up your decimals. That way you can add up all your whole numbers together, add up all your dimes or your tenths, add up all your pennies, add up all your hundreds, however you want to look at them. You keep all of them organized together. So what I mean by that is 6.7 plus 1.54. Do you see how those decimals are lined up? And then you just bring that decimal straight down. If you have the subtraction problem like this, 7.87, subtract, don't do this, 3.9. That looks really funny because you've got $3 right here and you've got 8 dimes right here. If you have 8 dimes, how are you supposed to take away $3 from that? It does not work at all, which is why you need to have that decimal there. Then you can subtract correctly, right? If you have 7 pennies, you can take 0 pennies away. If you have 8 dimes, you can't take 9 dimes, but you can take $1, steal from that dollar, and get 10 dimes. So now you end up with 18 dimes. Then you can take 9 away. It'll still give you 9 dimes. And $6 minus $3 is still $3 left over. So that is why it's important for you to line up your decimals. You'll notice right here that I added a 0 right here. You are welcome to fill in any blank spots with zeros. All right. Add or subtract, you add or subtract, and finally at the end, it's great to check your work. I could change that to an 8, this to a 4. 8 minus 4 is 4, and 4 is very close to 3.97. So those are the reasons, those are my tips for adding and subtracting decimals. Let's get to it. Let's take this 5 minus 1 and 83 hundredths, and let's first line them up. The tricky part with this is that, Mrs. Madsen, there is no decimal. Oops, why are you in my way? There we go. There is no decimal right here. How are we supposed to line up decimals when there's no decimal? I want you to listen and remember this. If the decimal's not in sight, then you put it on the right. I'll say that again. If the decimal's not in sight, then you put it on the right. There actually is a decimal at the end of every number. It's just that we got really lazy in putting there after every single number that we just know it's there. We just keep it. It's part of invisible math that mathematicians have. There's always a decimal at the end of every number. Okay, so there's my 5 whole numbers. Now let's line it up with my other number. There's my 1 whole and an 8, 3. Okay, 83 hundredths. Now here's where it'd be really awesome for you to add those with zeros. And now if I have 0 pennies, I can't take 3 pennies away. So I'm going to have to go next door. I don't have any dimes either. So I'm going to have to steal from this $5, leave $4, but make 10 dimes. Now that I have 10 dimes, I can steal one of those dimes. There'll still be 9 dimes left, but take 1 dime and make 10 pennies out of it. Now 10 pennies, I can take 3 pennies away and get 7 pennies. 9 dimes, take 8 pennies away. I am left with 1 dime. And then $4, take $1 away. I'm left with 3 whole dollars. So I could say that, or I could say 3 and 17 hundredths for that answer. If I were to estimate, 5 minus 2 equals 3. Very close to my actual answer. See how quick and easy estimating is? Love it. All right, I need to know how much your 2 dogs weigh altogether to know if they can go on the roller coaster with you. So you have 2 dogs, Fido and Beast. Fido is 2.3 pounds and Beast is 21 and 47 thousandths pounds. If we were to line those up, we would go 2.3. And then I immediately like to put my decimal straight down so I know that they're lined up, right? And then I see that there's a 21 in front of the decimal. So I go 21 in front of the decimal and a 0.47 behind the decimal. Here's where I can add some zeros. And because I'm just adding, I don't really need to worry about regrouping. I'm left with 23 and 347 thousandths pounds. And it doesn't show what the requirement is for the roller coaster, but hopefully you'll be able to go on the roller coaster. All right, let's do this one. You earned $33.20 for mowing lawns, but then you had to give your mom $21.46 for borrowing and then losing one of her iPad chargers. How much do you still have? So you'll notice what I did here. I didn't do 33.20 because remember we've talked about how that means absolutely nothing. 0 pennies is the same as no pennies. So I could just leave it like this and then subtract 21, making sure my decimals lined up, 46. Oh, but see, it actually is convenient to have the 0 right there. Okay, let's regroup and regroup again. 4, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 1, 1. So it looks like I'm left with $11.74. Doing a quick estimating, I'm going to change that to 30, change that to 20, 30 minus 20. I should have about $10 left, which is very close to my actual answer. So I'm pretty sure my answer is correct there. Now, here are those final tips. I want you to remember, line up your decimals. That is the only way to get the correct answer when you're adding and subtracting decimals. It will be convenient and easier if you do put zeros where there's no zeros. Okay, and then check your work. Do a quick estimating to make sure that you did it correctly. That's all that I have for you. Adding, subtracting decimals, as long as you line up those decimals, it's really a little simpler concept to practice and to do. So have at it. Good luck. We'll see you in next video.